Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We have been reading Sundara from Ramayana, the story of Lord Ram. Since Diwali has already gone and we are still at Sundara, so I just have this little bit sense of urgency now in me that I should be able to conclude this Ramayana reading soon. So I'll be doing it sometimes, or perhaps I'll try my best to read it twice a day now. So please join me if you can. This morning we were reading that Hanumanji was searching through the palaces of Ravan, and we'll continue from there onwards. He was searching for Sita Maya. Thereafter, Hanuman continued his search, wandering from room to room throughout the rest of Ravan's palace. He saw thousands of moon-faced women sleeping amidst vessels containing huge quantities of meat and wine, along with drinking glasses that were scattered about. Hanuman had to observe very closely while searching for Sita, and thus began to have misgivings. Hanuman thought to himself, perhaps I have violated religious principles by gazing upon the wives of others. Sleeping in a state of undress, what will be my destination? However, after some consideration, Hanuman concluded it is the motive that determines if an act is virtuous or sinful. So it's a very powerful statement that it is the motive that determines if an act is virtuous or sinful. While gazing upon these women, I have remained pure in mind, for my only concern is to find Sita. Since I am looking for a woman, where else can I search except among women? I am only doing this in the service of Lord Ram, therefore my looking upon others' wives cannot be sinful. When Hanuman had completed his search of Ravan's palace without finding a trace of Sita, he concluded that she must no longer be alive. Hanuman became saddened at heart. He wondered what he would tell the other monkeys who were anxiously waiting his return. However, Hanuman fought his depression by reminding himself that unwavering determination is the only cause for success. Still hoping for the best, he continued to search the places that remained uncovered. But after scouring Lanka again and again, Hanuman became completely disheartened. Although Sampati had assured him, remember Sampati is the elder brother of Jatayu, had assured him that Sita was in Lanka, Hanuman could not find her anywhere. He began to speculate about what might have happened. Perhaps Sita died out of fear while being carried to Lanka by Ravan. Perhaps he dropped her out of fear of Ram. Sita might have wriggled free and fallen into the ocean, or perhaps Ravan devoured her when she refused to become his consort. Hanuman's thoughts then turned to the disastrous results that would ensue if he were to return to Ram and report his failure. Without Sita, Ram will surely give up his life, and Lakshman will follow suit. When Bharat and Shatrughna hear that Ram and Lakshman have died, they will also end their lives. With all 4 sons gone, the 3 mothers will certainly wither away and die. Because of their failure, Sugriv and Angad and other monkeys will give up their lives out of shame. Therefore, I must not return to Kishkindhya. Either I will commit suicide or live out the test of my life as a recluse. So this is the dilemma going on in Hanumanji's life, in his mind or in his life at that moment. As Hanuman struggled to emerge from these gloomy thoughts, he considered, maybe I should kill Ravan, or drag him back to Ram so that he can be offered as a human sacrifice to Lord Shiva. Seated upon one of the Lanka's high defense walls, Hanuman suddenly spied a large grove of Ashoka trees on the outskirts of the town that he had not yet explored. Hanuman resolved to continue his search. He first offered his obeisances to Ram, Lakshman, and the principal demigods. Then he leapt from the defensive wall into the Ashoka grove, or like we say in Hindi, Ashok Vatika. Hanuman roamed about within the grove for some time and then climbed a tall tree to gain a better view. From the treetop, Hanuman could see a mountain stream cascading down into a nearby lotus pond. Surrounded by flowering trees, this idyllic garden seemed the perfect place for Sita. Hanuman decided to remain stationed in the treetop in the hope that Sita would come there to take her morning bath and perform her devotional duties. Gazing in another direction, Hanuman sighted a lofty temple supported by 1,000 pillars and situated within a nearby garden. In front of the temple sat a woman dressed in a single dirty, worn-out, fine yellow cloth. She appeared emaciated from fasting, and because of her anguish, she sighed heavily again and again. Although her face was wet with tears, displaying her anxiety and exhaustion, she nonetheless shone with a divine radiance. Looking like a smoke-covered fire, she was surrounded by many Rakshasis, actually, the lady Rakshasis. Hanuman recognized her to be the woman he saw earlier being carried away by Ravana. Likewise, he detected that the ornaments she wore matched the description those given by Ram. Hanuman gazed at the woman's full moon face, her graceful eyebrows, her full body, her bright red lips, her slender waist, her lotus petal eyes, her delicate symmetrical limbs, and concluded that she must be Sita. Although as lovely as the goddess of love, she sat upon the ground like an ascetic practicing penances. Appearing most glorious, she suffered acute anguish and thus appeared like a sacred text misinterpreted, like wealth squandered, like faith shattered, like hope frustrated, like ideals impeded, like intellect corrupted, or like fame blackened. Hanuman thought, this is the woman whom Ram loves and for whom he suffers, sometimes feeling pity, sometimes tenderness, and sometimes grief. Pity for the dear one whom he failed to protect, tenderness for the woman who is solely dependent on him, and grief at suddenly losing his beloved wife. Sita's grace and beauty resemble that of Ram. She is certainly worth the trouble of jumping over to Lanka and killing all the Rakshasas. Indeed, if Sita were placed on one side of a scale and the sovereignty of the three worlds on the other side, the latter would not measure even a fraction of her worth. It is painful to see how she suffers at the hands of Ravan. Still, I know that because of remaining absorbed in thoughts of Ram, she cannot perceive her external sufferings. The moon rose to help Hanuman observe Sita and the dangerous Rakshasis guarding her. Some of these Rakshasis had only one eye or ear, one had ears all over her body, and another had a nose in the middle of her forehead. Some were bald and some were dwarfs. Some were hunchbacks and some had lips that hung down to their chins. Some had heads that resembled boars, deers, camels, tigers, or horses. Others had only a single hand or foot. Other Rakshasis had heads that were sunk into their bodies like Kabandha, and most had meat and blood smeared all over their bodies. Hanuman wept tears of joy in finding Sita remaining concealed atop the Ashoka tree. He watched her as the night passed. Ravan was awakened before dawn by the singing of the bards who praised his glories to the accompaniment of the musical instruments. As he arose, Ravan began to think of Sita, for he was irresistibly drawn to her. Unable to suppress his sensual longing for the princess of Videha, Ravan set out for the Ashoka grove, accompanied by 100 beautiful women carrying golden lamps, charmers, cushions, water, and other paraphernalia. Still under the influence of the previous night's intoxication, Ravan staggered along, followed by the lovely ladies who appeared to be like flashes of lightning behind a cloud. When Hanuman saw Ravan approach, he concealed himself behind a cluster of leafy branches. When Sita saw Ravan coming, she covered her body as best as she could. Then, trembling violently, she sat down and wept. As Sita sat upon the bare ground, she swayed back and forth like a frail boat tossing upon a stormy ocean. In her wretched condition, Sita appeared to be like an understanding that had become dim, hope that had been frustrated, an order flouted, or a sacred altar that had been desecrated. She was like a full moon in eclipse, an army that had been routed, or a stream dried up from the drought. She was like a pond whose lotuses had been uprooted, and an extinguished flame, or birds fleeing from fright. Sita's body had become emaciated and her mind depressed from her fasting and grief. Ravan came before Sita and began speaking in the hope of seducing her. O most fair and beautiful lady, why do you cover your shapely body? O large-eyed beauty, I am afflicted with love for you, so please give up your shyness, favor me, my beloved, and fulfill my unbearable longing to have you. It has always been the custom of Rakshasas to carry away or rape the wives of others. However, I shall not touch you as long as you do not voluntarily agree to have me in return. O lovely goddess, why are you dying upon the bare ground? Why do you wear dirty clothes and fast for no reason? Why do you tie your hair in a single braid and constantly sit brooding? Such behavior does not suit a ravishing princess like you. Become my queen and enjoy royal opulence beyond compare within the three worlds. You will have only the best garlands, sandalwood paste, perfumes, and ornaments. You shall eat the finest food, drink the most ambrosial beverages, lie upon the most luxurious couches, and revel with music, singing, and dancing. O most lovely lady, youth quickly passes, therefore your stubbornness is folly. You have the loveliest face, fairer than the moon, and your bodily features are perfection of artistic workmanship. Become my beloved, and in return I shall do anything for your pleasure. If you like, I shall conquer the entire earth and present it as a gift to you, to your father, King Janak. Who can dare to defy me, O Sita? After seeing you, I have become so enamored that I can no longer find pleasure in any of my wives, not even Mandodari. Why do you insist upon remaining faithful to Ram, a mere human being, a straw in the street in comparison to me? I doubt whether Ram still lives. Even if he does, you may rest assured you will never see him again. Sita placed the straw between herself and Ravan as a symbol of her unwillingness to contact him directly. She gently replied, you should withdraw your mind from me and remain contented with the consorts you already possess. You will never be able to possess me, just as a sinful man fails to achieve perfection. I was born in a noble family and married according to religious principles. I will never act contrary to the tenets of righteousness. There is no hope of your gaining my favor. Turning her back on Ravan, Sita continued, because you are acting perversely, acting yourself away from the path of virtue, you will become the cause for the destruction of your entire kingdom. Why not follow the example of good men who protect their wives and wives of others? The fool who is dissatisfied with his own wife and seeks pleasure with wives of others is doomed. Why do you ignore the advice of the wise and reject that which is good? Why are you determined to cause the destruction of all the Rakshasas? Do you not know that everyone rejoices at the destruction of wicked persons? I will never be tempted by your offers of insignificant opulence and royal comforts. I am as inseparable from Ram as sunlight is from the sun. The only way that you can save yourself from Ram's wrath is to voluntarily deliver me back to him. You should try to make friendship with him, for he is very merciful to those who take shelter of him. Otherwise, it will not be long before Ram and Lakshman come here and suck out your life breath with their arrows. You shall never escape Ram's vengeance, even though you may be capable of saving yourself from the Indra's thunderbolt. It is only a matter of time before Ram finds you out and kills you for your wickedness. Ravan retorted, generally the more courteously a man treats a woman, the more agreeably she responds to him. In your case, however, the opposite holds true. I should kill you for your harsh words. You are fortunate, however, because of my love for you controls my anger like a charioteer that curbs unruly steeds. Love acts strangely, for the more a beloved mistreats her lover, the more he showers her with affection. It is for this reason alone that I do not kill you, although death and dishonor are what you deserve. Already 10 months of your 1 year grace period have passed. I shall wait only 2 more months, then if you still refuse to reciprocate my love, I shall have you chopped to pieces by my cooks and served for my breakfast. Several of Ravan's consorts had been forcibly abducted by him were also present there, and upon hearing his threats they felt very sympathetic towards Sita. As Ravan prepared to depart, they briefly comforted Sita with their compassionate words, giving Sita some small reassurance. Thus feeling encouraged, Sita again rebuked Ravan, saying, you cannot have a single well-wisher within your kingdom, for no one has tried to deter you from your ignoble act. This ignoble act which is meant for your destruction. Ram is like a mighty elephant and you are a tiny rabbit. You can speak boldly only while Ram is out of sight. I could reduce you to ashes myself by utilizing my mystic power, but I refrained from doing so because I have not received such an order from Ram. You are a fool, for it is impossible to kidnap the wife of Lord Ram. You have only been able to do so because this is the device Providence has chosen to have me as the instrumental cause of your death. Struck by these sharp words, Ravan hissed like a serpent and gazed at Sita with angry, bloodshot eyes. I will kill you this very day, Ravan bellowed. Then addressing the Rakshasis who guarded Sita, he said, you must make Sita submit to me by any means, whether conciliation, gifts, or force. Ravan turned menacingly towards Sita, and it appeared he might suddenly become violent. However, Mandodari, who had come with Ravan's youngest consort, Dhanyamalini, embraced her husband, saying, come back to your palace and enjoy with us. Forget about this pale, emaciated Sita. When a man desires to enjoy a woman who does not love him, he only suffers. However, when the woman loves him in return, he enjoys extreme delight. Ravan was thus dissuaded from further abusing Sita. Laughing conceitedly, he returned to his palace. The hideous Rakshasi guards then approached Sita and began to threaten her in harsh, angry voices. One said, you should give up your false pride and accept Ravan, for he is very exalted personality. You should know that one of the Lord Brahma's mentally conceived son was Pulastya, whose mentally conceived son was Vishrava, Rishi, whose son is Ravan. So, Brahma's mentally conceived son, one of his mentally conceived son was Pulastya, and whose mentally conceived son in turn was Vishrava Rishi, and Vishrava Rishi's son is Ravan. Do not hesitate to accept the king of Rakshasas, thinking him unworthy of you. If you remain adamant, it will certainly result in your destruction. Another Rakshasi said, You are a fool for refusing to become Ravan's queen. Don't you know that at his command the trees scatter flowers and the clouds release torrents of rain, the sun does not shine and the wind refuses to blow if they displease Ravan. O sweet smiling goddess, listen to her advice or else face a horrible death. Sita, however, calmly replied, You can devour me if you like, I shall never submit to Ravan. Finding Sita unbending, like the Rakshasis picked up spears, axes, and knives, threatening her. As they circled around her, one shouted, You are young, soft, and tender. I shall devour your heart, liver, and spleen this very moment if you do not submit to Ravan. Others exclaimed, I shall eat up your rosy red cheeks, will savor your succulent thighs, I will drink your hot blood. Then other Rakshasi interrupted, I hate squabbling, let's chop her up and divide her into equal morsels. Order wine to be brought, let us feast upon her flesh and dance before the goddess Bhadrakali. Sita could no longer bear their ghastly remarks and burst into tears. Trembling violently with fear, she cried out, O Ram, O Lakshman. She lamented, Why doesn't Ram come here to save me? Perhaps he doesn't know where I am. Maybe he has already died from feelings of separation and now residing in heaven. Perhaps Ravan was somehow able to kill him by means of some sinister trick. Oh, when will Ram come to take me back to Ayodhya after destroying all these Rakshasas? Why am I so unfortunate that I cannot give up my life at once? If only I could die, for death would surely be better than this unbearable misery. While Rakshasis were attempting to intimidate Sita, one elderly woman named Trijata suddenly awoke from deep slumber. Trijata approached the other Rakshasis and prudently spoke as follows. You wretches, how can you dare torment Sita like this? You shall never be able to devour her. I shall now tell you why. I have just had an incredibly vivid dream wherein I saw Ram come here to rescue Sita and slaying all other Rakshasas. When the other Rakshasis begged her to describe her dream in detail, Trijata continued, I saw Ram and Lakshman dressed all in white and wearing white garlands. They were roaring through the air in a white celestial chariot drawn by 1,000 white horses. When the scene changed and I saw Ram seated upon the gigantic four-tusked elephant dressed all in white, Sita too was dressed in white and was standing upon a white mountain in the middle of the sea. When Ram came nearby, Sita mounted the elephant and became reunited with her beloved husband. After this, I saw Ram, Sita, and Lakshman flying through the air toward the north in the Pushpak chariot. I then saw Ravan in my dream with a shaved head, his body smeared with red sandalwood paste. He was riding a chariot drawn by the asses, drinking oil and laughing as though mentally deranged. As the chariot rode off, I saw Ravan disappear into a gloomy hell filled with filthy things that emitted a foul odor. I saw Kumbhakaran and the sons of Ravan in the same way, but not Vibhishan. Vibhishan was mounted upon a four-tusked elephant covered by white canopy and was heralded by conch shells and kettle drums. Finally, I saw the whole of Lanka crumble and fall into the sea. I have concluded that very soon Ram will come and recover Sita after slaying the Rakshasas. You must give up tormenting Sita and beg for her forgiveness. Meanwhile, auspicious signs appeared in the irreproachable body of Sita like servants eager to wait upon a wealthy man. Her lotus-like left eye began to twitch and her left arm gently throbbed. Sita's graceful left thigh also quivered as if Ram himself was standing before her. Noticing all this, Trijata declared, Because of these auspicious signs, I can understand that Sita soon will receive some good news. Hearing this, Sita became elated and said, If all that have you described come come true, then I will make certain that you are afforded all protection from the wrath of my husband. However, Sita soon lapsed into her usual hopeless mood as she gazed at the Rakshasis all around her. She thought, what if Ravan kills me before Ram is able to come and save me? In this miserable situation, I cannot bear the torment. Desiring to end her life, Sita took a string binding her hair and knotted it tightly around her neck. Then she began to tying the other end to the branch of an Ashoka tree. However, just that moment Sita began experiencing some auspicious signs and her mood brightened. All the while Hanuman had remained hidden, listening to Sita and the Rakshasis. He began considering the situation. I must go to comfort Sita, for her intelligence has become covered due to her intense grief. I must somehow allay her fears and give her hope before returning to Ram. Indeed, at any time she may decide to give up her life out of despair. Still, how can I talk to her in the midst of these Rakshasis? Never mind, somehow I will do it. Ram will surely ask me if I have any message from Sita. If I reply that I have none, he might decide to burn me to ashes with his anger. Therefore, I think both Sita and Ram need to be consoled with the news of each other. I will go to meet Sita with her guards. While her guards are inattentive, if I speak to her in Sanskrit, she will surely have faith in my words. However, if I speak like a Brahmana, she may think that I am Ravan disguised as a mendicant. Perhaps I address her in the Ayodhya dialect. She will believe me, but if she hears a monkey speaking like a human, she will still think I am Ravan. How perplexing is this? Perhaps since Ravan can assume any form he likes, I must be very careful, for if she screams, her cries will alert the guards. If the guards see me, they will also become afraid because of my gigantic size. Thus, they will call for the help of Ravan's soldiers. Then, could I be taken captive? Even if I were able to defeat all the Rakshasas, I would probably be too tired to jump back to the mainland, and I must consider how to approach Sita very carefully, for a thoughtless messenger can ruin even the most perfect plan. After pondering his dilemma in great detail, Hanuman firmly concluded, I will first sing Rama's praises to gain Sita's confidence, then I shall deliver Rama's message to her. From within the branches of the great Ashoka tree, Hanuman began to recite. Descendant of Ikshvaku, King Dashrath was his name. Righteous and heroic, he ruled Ayodhya of fame. He received 4 mighty sons, Rama the loved of his heart, full of infinite potencies, Vishnu in a human part. To give Kaikeyi her boons, into exile Ram was sent. Upholder of his father's vow, with Sita and Lakshman he went. When Ram killed the Rakshasas, who filled the rishis with fear, Ravan kidnapped Sita with the help of Marich the dare. Then in his search for Sita, Ram made Sugriv a friend to search the southern quarter. I, Hanuman, did he send. After crossing many mountains, I jumped the ocean vast, and thus I have succeeded in finding you at last. Ram will come to save you, his dearly beloved wife. Now give me a little message to save your husband's life. As Hanuman fell silent, Sita began looking into the tree to find the speaker. When she sighted Hanuman, she thought she must be dreaming. It is inauspicious to see a monkey in dreams, she murmured to herself. Overwrought from anguish, Sita wept bitterly and then suddenly fainted. When she regained the consciousness, she thought, after seeing a monkey in that nightmare, I should pray for the welfare of Ram and Lakshman, but how could I have been dreaming? In my state of anguish, being separated from Ram, I cannot sleep for a moment. I must have been not a dream, but a hallucination. The monkey I saw could not have been real, for whatever I look, I see only Ram, my ears only hear Ram's voice, and I can think only of Ram and nothing else. I can believe the monkey was illusory, for he appeared so real. O Lord Brahma, Indra, Surya and Vayu, please let the monkey really exist and let his words of Ram bring me auspiciousness. Hanuman came down from his hiding place in the tree, standing before Sita with folded hands. He inquired, "Who are you? You appear to be a goddess, and I think you must be the consort of Ram." Sita was delighted to hear Ram's name, and in reply to Hanuman's questions, she practically narrated the entire story of her life. In conclusion, she explained, "Ravan has given me only 2 more months to live. If Ram does not come here before then, I shall give up my life." Gaining confidence, Hanuman said, "I am an envoy from Ram, and I can assure you he is quite well. Ram has sent me here to locate you. He anxiously inquires about your welfare." Sita was delighted. With great happiness, they continued talking to each other. However, as they became engrossed in conversation, Hanuman gradually began inching his way closer to Sita. Upon realizing this, Sita was suddenly seized with the thought that he was actually Ravan, disguised as a monkey. Thus she explained, "Oh, how disgusting that I have been tricked into talking with you." Sita then sank to the ground, exhausted from grief. She rebuked Hanuman, saying, "How abominable for you to come to me in disguise." The next moment, however, Sita considered, "I certainly feel delighted at heart to see this monkey. Perhaps my suspicions are false. Perhaps he really is a messenger from Ram." Thus composing herself, Sita again addressed Hanuman more favorably. "Please tell me more of Ram. Your descriptions of him are most pleasing to my ears and heart." In truth, Sita was absorbed in intense ecstasy in separation from Ram. Thus her talks were manifestations of transcendental madness. Like a deranged woman, Sita again began to speculate. "Maybe this monkey is a ghost. Perhaps I only imagine to see him because I have become mentally unbalanced due to my agony. No, I should not even think like this. Why should I allow myself to become carried away by my disturbed mind?" From his speech, it appears that this monkey came here in the service of Ram. However, how can I believe that a mere monkey could jump over the ocean to Lanka? It must be Ravan who has come here in disguise. Hanuman could understand Sita's doubt, and to allay her fears, he continued to glorify Ram and reassured her in various ways. Then, to test Hanuman, Sita said, "Please tell me the story of how you met Ram. Also describe in full detail the bodily features of Ram and his younger brother Lakshman." Hanuman said, "O Princess of Videha, Ram has eyes that resemble the lotus petals, his broad shoulders and mighty arms, his neck is shaped like a conch, his eyes are coppery, his voice deep like the sound of kettle drum. He is solid in 3 places, his breast, wrist and fist. He is elevated in 3 places, his chest, the rim of his navel and his abdomen. He is reddish in 3 places, his eyes, nails and palms and the soles of his feet. He has deep voice. He has a deep navel and he walks swiftly. He has 3 folds of skin on the neck and belly. He is small in 4 places and he walks with 4 different gaits, like a lion, like a tiger, like an elephant, and like a bull. 10 places on his body are like lotus: his complexion, his mouth, his eyes, his tongues, his lips, his palate, his breast, his nails, his hands, and his feet. He is fine in 4 places: his bodily hair, skin, finger joints, and perception. Indeed, he has all these features and many more." So we'll finish our reading here and we will continue with it tomorrow morning. Like I said to you, that my aim is to conclude this Ramayana soon as I can, because Diwali has gone, so it doesn't seem fair to keep continuing with Ramayana longer. So let us hope that I'll be able to finish this very soon. Thank you for joining. Hari Om Tat Sat and Hare